Jordo here. Hello, everybody. Gonna talk some United stuff again. I feel like I'm always bitching, but they don't give me much to celebrate about. I don't know if you guys saw the news, but basically, Carlos Baleba has been the guy. I feel like they've just been trying to act like they aren't in on and make it seem like it's a good deal at the end of the day. Brighton basically came out and said they won't accept or even talk to any offers that start with a 5 or a 6, which basically means the minimum they will sell him for is 70 million. He is young and he had a great season last season. He's been terrible this year. He's barely played at all. And I'm not going to get too far into this because I've talked about it before, but he has barely played. He just got back into the lineup. He was replaced by almost a 40-year-old guy, James Milner. And they want 70 million for a guy that they're not playing, and they know United feels like that's not too much money, and that's the problem. Okay, because the rumor for Anderson was, I think, quoted at 60 to 120 million, Tonali around 80 to 110, Gamera is about 80. And all these guys are too expensive. We don't want to spend money on this and spend money on that, blah 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 blah. The point I wanted to get into, that really made me want to make this little video and this rant. Okay, our three best players. Let's rewind. Carrick is most likely our manager. Who has he relied on this season to get us results? Bruno, Casemiro, Maguire. Those are our main three. Sheshko's been important, but he's not starting. He's not relying on Sheshko, but Sheshko's doing his job. When he gets service, he doesn't get the ball that much. Wing play, terrible. We don't need a winger if we're going to play the system because they don't do anything. The system is almost just designed to get the ball to Bruno, and then he gets the ball into Maguire or Casemiro. Doesn't even get the ball into our 6'5" monster striker who has very, very clinical finishing ability. He's got a very good shot, very good heading skills, can jump over anybody. Casemiro's got 9 goals. When Maguire's healthy, he's up there getting active. He's got some headers. He was very important in Amarim's system too at the end of games, especially in that Europa League run. There was a lot of big Maguire headers. But the thing I'm saying, and the reason I get into the age, right? All these guys are over 30. We don't want to sign anybody over 26. Okay. Now, in a logical world, I understand wanting to get some young guys in and not only buying 30-year-olds. You can't do that because you're always going to be spending money. If your three best players are over 30 and you have to replace one of them, why is your top target a 22-year-old from a small club that's barely playing at that small club? They don't want Tonali because he's, whatever the reason is, they say he's too expensive. But Baleba at 70 is not much cheaper than Tonali, especially with the product you're getting. You're getting the finished product, and he's 26. He's not 30. You still get at least 5 years out of him. And even if he wants to go to Italy, he'll probably sign a 3 to 4 year deal. You can send him to Italy at 30. You still had him for 4 years. They bring Maguire back because they're too cheap to go buy anybody. DeLitt and Martinez are older, but that's okay. They don't even want to get a center back. But then we have Sean Dallo, whatever. We're not going to get any wing backs. It's not going to happen. They want to bring in a young 19-year-old winger. They want to bring in young midfielders. I don't even know the plan. Now we're rumored to be bringing in Gibbs White. What I don't understand is if you have Bruno and you're going to keep him around for another year or two, right? If you're going in the Champions League this year, your plan is to compete. It's not just to make it and then buy Bruno. So we should at least be looking 2 to 3 more years of Bruno because he's going to break the assist record set by Kevin De Bruyne. Keep him around. He's producing on a not very good team. Maguire, I'm fine with the re-signing Maguire. He has been okay. He's been a very important player, but his pace is gone, but that's okay. Casemiro's gone. They want to replace him with a kid. Why are we not bringing in like a Yildiz who can play Cam? I know he plays more on the wing, or Goyler from Real Madrid, or a young Cam, a younger guy that we can develop. He already has that class, but we can make him world class when he learns from Bruno, the way Bruno plays. Because there's not many players in the world like him. Verts isn't like him. Musiala isn't like him. Bellingham isn't Bruno. These guys are more on the ball active. Bruno is a setup. He's an old fashioned Cam, and I would like us to go to replace that. Morgan Rogers is rumored, but we're trying to bring him on the wing, not develop him under under Bruno. Where's Cunha gonna go? Is he back to the bench? We bring in a young winger. Like what? Why did we? We're not gonna get a left winger to start because we spent 70 million on Cunha. And he's not starting over Bruno. They're not gonna. United doesn't waste money, so they're not gonna replace Cunha. Simple as that. He's our left wing next season. Um, I just don't know what the plan is. I don't know. I just don't get it, I guess. I can't figure out what they're trying to do, what the plan is, what they're thinking. Your three best players are over 30. You don't want to sign old people, but you don't want to go out and spend on the young kids. You want to spend $70 million on a guy that's not playing at Brighton. That's who we're gonna get. That's gonna be our big signing. It's already done. Like there's no I will be more shocked if we don't sign Baleba than if we sign anybody else at that price. But it's just frustrating. We could use a left back. And then that's the other thing I actually want to talk about. They basically come out and said that they want to sell to buy. Where's the $100 million or pounds, whatever it is, the 100 million that you get for qualifying for the Champions League go? I know we do make payments for guys we bought in the past. We do payment plans, so 5 year. Buy a guy for 100 million, they pay him 20 million for 5 years. That's kind of how we do business. You already had to spend that money, right? You already made the transfer. You already lined up that money. The 100 million from the Champions League should be separate to bring in people to help the squad for the Champions League, not to catch you up financially on payments you already put into the budget, right? That 100 million should be spent on whether it be Tonali or two guys, maybe Stiller and Alex Scott, right? But no, we're gonna sell players to buy Baleba and then cheap out. That's what they're gonna do. I can't get over it. It makes me not want to be a fan of the fucking team. It really does. I love the club and I watch soccer, and there's no more exciting soccer to me. I watched the Bayern PSG game, and that was one of the greatest games of all time, at least in my lifetime. That game was 5-4. I mean, man, you got them up. They got what, 4-1, 4-2, 5-2. I don't remember. I think they're up 5-2, and they don't sit back and park the bus. PSG keeps going. Bayern puts the pressure on. They make it 5-4. That's football. That's how it should be played. You watch the Arsenal game today, boring. Two of the most boring teams in the world, Atletico and Arsenal. I'm an Atletico Madrid fan. I do like them. That's my team in Spain. But boring. Boring football. And that seems like what everybody wants to do, and that just seems like we want to do. Get old guys, sit back and wait, and just send them guys up the field. And if we score, we score. If we draw, we draw. Boring. Boring. But the where is that 100 million going? Like, why is that gone? Because we already owed money. It's in the budget that we have to pay that money. We get $100 million for having a good season, making the Champions League. Oh, we're just gonna actually put it towards that. This isn't. You don't own a fucking car, man. You own a football club. You're not gonna make that much profit on a football club when you're not winning. The real profit on a football club, even Man United, especially when we're in so much debt because of the Glazers, comes from qualifying for tournaments, buying players, and keep qualifying, keep winning, keep getting titles. We're not doing any of that. We're not going for a run in the Champions League. We're not going to win the Premier League. We're probably going to finish below 8th place, get knocked out of the Champions League very early, if we even make it to the knockout stage. I'm just not excited. I'm excited. I want United to play a bit more football and more games. That we got guys getting hurt left and right, and we're only playing one game a week. If that, we get 3 weeks off. We come back, look flat. There's a lot of guys that have to go. I would like to see Mason Mount go. Project's done. He's been here. He's had his chance. Can't stay healthy. Send him on his way. Delo got a lot of heart, but just not good enough. Project's done. Send him on his way. Let him go play somewhere else. Shaw's done. You can keep him as like a backup center back maybe or something. Done on the wing back. Need a left and a right back. Uarte's on his way. You know what else I want to talk about? This is another thing actually that really just, I'm gonna look this up on my phone because I'm not butchering this number, because this is actually really frustrating when I put this into perspective for you. The reason we go to Arte, okay? So PSG, okay, bought João Neves from Benfica for 60 million. 60 million. Oh, this gets better. We do not think 70 million is too much for Baleba. Now, I know the market prices have changed, but it's been 2 years. 10 million, not that much when I put this into perspective. We didn't want to take the risk of 60 million on João Neves. So we bought Ugarte from PSG, and they used the money we bought Ugarte for to buy João Neves. Ugarte sucks. João Neves was 60 million, Baleba 70 million, way different class, even out of Benfica. Neves was grades better. Grades better than Baleba. But we're okay with spending an extra 10 mil on a guy that's not playing versus a guy that we knew was going to be world class. It's just like, does that not piss you off? Does that not piss anybody else off? We could have João Neves in our midfield, but we cheaped out because we didn't want to take the risk. He was too much money, but we're going to pay more money for a higher risk in Baleba, who's not playing at Brighton. Benfica would beat Brighton in a game 9 times out of 10. Where's the sense? They just talk. They don't even think about anything they say. They just say shit, and we eat it up, and then they hope we forget about it. I didn't forget that we funded we bought Ugarte, who was a risk, because we didn't want to spend on Neves, who went to PSG and is now one of the best center midfielders in the world, and now we want to spend the money on Baleba. 2 years is not that long of a time. It's not like this happened 10 years ago and I'm holding on to the past. This just happened. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But I'm not going to spend any more time in United today because I am frustrated with all this stuff. We're replacing our best players who are old with young kids, and we're also spending on young kids that aren't playing when we didn't want to spend on young kids who we knew were world class. I digress. Let me know what you guys think. Is Carrick the guy? Should we be going for older players, or should we just take the youth and try to build? And also, who would you rather for the price? Back then, not now, hard to do, but hindsight's easy. But back then, would you have rather us taking a chance on Neves for 60 or us get Ugarte and now Baleba? Just objectively, the names and the prices. Let's kind of separate that we know what Neves is now. Because I think we knew what he was back then, and we didn't want to pay for him. We don't know what Baleba. We know what Baleba is. He's not that, and we're going to spend 10 million more, and that's okay. That's a good price. But 60 for Neves was not. I digress. Let me know what you guys think, please. Have a good night.